So I'm going to be doing this book review today of this book called Honor by Elif Shafak. And it's not going to be your normal review like how we do book reviews, but it's more like a introduction to the book and why one should read this book. We live in such a fast-paced world. We live where everything is changing and everything's just so fast, but this allows you to slow down. This allows you to escape from your realities, and this allows you to just take a pause. And that's also something about books, it has to find its way to you. So just like Shafak found its way into my library, and this has been staying in my library for a very long time. I think I bought this book somewhere around 2020, maybe 22 or somewhere, or maybe even before that. I don't remember exactly, but I got to reading it now. And I think that's the magic that book lovers understand about how the book has to find you. And I think this was exactly the time when I needed to read this book, when a lot has been happening personally in my life as well. And I'm entering into my womanhood, and I'm understanding, what it means to be a woman in cultures, in small towns, in your own realities, and how you have to grapple with lots and lots of emotions and realities, and it actually shapes you into becoming the woman that you become. It gives you an essence, your character, your authenticity, your desires, everything. You can name it. So I think just as I embrace womanhood, and this was just exactly what I needed at that time. So it has been really difficult for me to keep it down. So I've carried it wherever I go, and even in brief moments I've tried to find time to read it. And what a wonderful read. What a wonderful read. And I think Shafak rightly at this point of time is one of the most poignant storytellers, and one who writes out of her heart. And even if you just listen to her videos and podcasts and writings, it's just so beautiful. The simplicity with which she writes and the beauty of the stories that she captures, that's where my interest lies in it, in picking up her work as a storyteller. I am right now ardently a writer and follower on Substack, and that's one of the best place for writers to be at this point of time. And Shafak's stack is one that I follow, and even the simplest of posts is just so beautiful. And in this story, it's a very, very simple tale, of two sisters, and two families that follows from the lives of these sisters, of belonging to a Turkish immigrant family, and when they moved to London. And this is set in the time period of the 1970s, when, so the complexities of not just immigration and the cultural differences and realities of being placed out there, but the way with which one incident centered around this idea of honor killing, and how, of course, because culturally the idea of honor symbolically is carried in women's bodies, and how this complex reality or theory or whatever we may name it, or a cultural practice rooted in the ideas of traditions and beliefs, she writes about it through these realities and the changes that come about in this family. It can be a simple tale about this young woman who travels all the way from her small village and then moves on to a bigger city, again forced by situations and realities which is out of her control. Her separation from her identical twins, her own historical baggage that she carries, her own realities that she carries of being a daughter in a family, her mother's desire for a son, and the sadness and desolation of the family for not having a son, and her own complexities, the twins, their realities in different places, and each one of it located in each different center as young women moving on from this childhood to adolescence to adulthood, and how they evolve as women, shaped by these realities around them. It's so beautifully written. It's a very complex issue, but at the same time, it's so poignantly written, it's so simply written that I think anyone would be immersed in the writing that follows. And then how she addresses from the starting point of this incident of honor killing, which drastically changes all of their lives and shatters all of their hopes as a immigrant family, the realities that follow, not just in terms of complex understanding of things, but just simple human emotions, which I think as writers are the hardest to grasp and write about. But the simplicity with which she weaves this, and ultimately how it's in questions of desire as women, as young children, how do you make sense of these realities? How can you be okay seeing your mother in a dysfunctional marriage and yet not be okay with her being with someone else? How did the ideas of affairs, impact young children, and the idea of being responsible as children to take over elderly responsibilities, at the same time of how women trapped in unhappy marriages in situations where they have to curb their desires, their own happiness, and live a life that is not their own, and the kind of women or people they become in this journey. So I think it's a very, very powerfully written book. It is about questions of, like, rightly so, about emotions. I think it's largely about emotions of loss, of grief, of pain, and of love, and the power of love. And it's so beautifully interwoven. And I think at this point of time, although, like, I know it would be hard to generate interest in people to read, I would really recommend this book to readers. And I know many of you must have read it, and maybe this is too late to do a review as well. But I think, like I said, it came to me late in my life. And I'm going to do a written review of this on Substack as well. And despite all distractions, I could get done with it and also do this review. Soon I will be doing a second review on another book. So that's a habit I'm trying to build of having like a short book list, kind of thing, that to-do list, the number of books you read. And this is also in the effort to generate reading habits, especially for younger people. And also to sort of build that community where we can read together. So ending it off on this note, and again, asking everyone to pick up Shafak's Honor. It's a must read. Yeah. Thanks.